Welcome back inside the WCBL studios. I'm Clark Monroe here with IKS Media, and we're talking about all 12 teams across the league to preview the season. And in doing that, we will talk today with the head coach of the Lethbridge Bulls. That's Ryan MacDonald. Ryan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So Ryan, obviously we'll get into the Lethbridge Bulls season coming up. We'll talk a little bit about last year, but also wanted to get to know you a little bit more as well. You've been with the Bulls currently. You've been with them before. You also do some other stuff outside of the Bulls. Can you just talk a little bit about your coaching history?
Yeah, I actually played at PBA for 3 years. Went down to Texas and played a couple more years down there, and then I came back in I believe the fall of 2009, and I've been coaching 16 years there. This year, next year will be 17, and yeah, I've kind of been with the Lethbridge Bulls basically since 2006. So I think I'm the second longest tenured person besides Kevin Cavani to be working with the Bulls in some type of capacity since 2006. So yeah.
And a pretty impressive baseball wall behind you there, Ryan. Can you just, what are some of the prized possessions you got behind you on the wall?
Oh yeah, I collect some cards and stuff. I basically a lot of Otanis. I do some eBay sales and stuff like that. I got some old stuff, McDavid, Bedard, stuff like that. Bobby Witt. Yeah, I get. There's a Bobby Witt auto in there.
Oof.
There's a couple big boys in there. There's about I think 7 grand in that case right there is what it's
Not
about
not
worth.
bad.
So
That's fun. That's
yeah,
exciting. One thing I've always been curious about, Ryan. I'm a baseball player myself. Growing up in Saskatchewan, when I was
yeah,
coming up, there wasn't much in terms of the academies. You mentioned you've been
yeah.
with PBA now for a long time. Can you, from your perspective, how much impact have these academies, and not just for college age players, but for high school players and even younger than that? How much of impact have these academies had on the prairie baseball scene in the last, I'm going to say 20 years?
Yeah, well, it's crazy. I'm originally from Nova Scotia, so you know, in 2004, back then there wasn't really anything to pursue Canada wide, wise in terms of baseball, and basically PBA was either PBA or Douglas College and UBC type of thing back then. So I chose to go to PBA, and it's been a crazy ride, kind of just seeing these places grow to when I kind of finished up my playing career at PBA. Vauxhall was just starting up in that fall my last year, and that was one of the pinnacle places to go out of high school back then. And now it's grown significantly. Every year they're pumping out J&T guys. Now we got Okotoks. It seems like it's just growing. The kids are so much bigger and faster and stronger than and like I never picked up a weight until I showed up at PBA. Now these
Yeah.
guys are training in kind of grade 10, and getting to their you know to better potential to move on. And there's I forget the number of kids that are playing in the States from Canada now, but over the last 10 years it's grown basically fivefold from 10 years ago type of thing. And it's absolutely crazy to see these opportunities that these players are having coming out of these academies now.
Yeah, it's wild. We're about the same age because I also remember when Vauxhall launched, and it was such a huge
Yeah,
deal.
yeah,
And that rivalry instantly between PBA and Vauxhall. I remember talking about that and just hearing about those types of
yeah,
things. And it is crazy because, again, from Saskatchewan here, now we see
yeah,
multiple off-season training facilities here in Regina specifically. You got a bunch in
yeah,
Saskatoon popping off,
yeah,
including the Berries
yeah,
now. So it's just great to see,
mhm,
just in terms of grassroots baseball in the prairies.
yeah,
It's great to see. But
yeah.
let's talk about the Bulls now. Last year, a 36-win season. What are the biggest positives and takeaways that you're going to take from last year's team that you can put into this year's team?
But a lot of guys that we brought back are the kind of the younger. Last year we had, I would say, an older team. You know what I mean? And I think the guys that we did bring back are have been there and kind of seen what we could do last year, and uh, they're very excited to come back. I didn't even really have to ask them if they wanted to come back. They were, you know, August 10th they were ready to come back for next season type of thing last year. Like they were looking forward to it, and we ran into Okotoks. That was a hell of a series to lose them. I was in the locker room at the time. I think it was the 13th, something like that against them. Ended up getting ejected in the top of the 13th,
No,
but yeah,
Ryan.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it just it's crazy. You have basically 8 months in the college season, and you grow so much with those guys. But playing 56 games in basically 2 months, you feel you spend more time with these guys than your family. You know what I mean? And you grow so close to them, and at the end of the year, I don't think there was one guy that wasn't shedding a tear in that Okotoks locker room after we lost in Game 3, type of thing. Like, we were such a tight knit group of guys. Like, wherever one guy went, we all went. They all went together, type of thing. There was no like cliques or whatever. Everybody kind of hung out with everybody, and it was just yeah, it was a family, and there was no bad seeds. I've coached teams in the past where you have this guy or that guy but there was none of that. They're all good kids, and they still quite a few of them that are finished still text me to this day saying it was the best summer of their life. So
I love that. Well, and part of that is obviously the culture around the team. So it's not just the group; it's the culture as well. And the
yeah,
Lethbridge Bulls are obviously they're the last team not named Okotoks to win a championship. So it's a pretty cool in that regard. It's a great organization to be a part of, I'm sure. So let's talk about those players specifically in terms of your roster. Who are some of the big names that you expect to take real leadership roles coming back this summer?
well, we got Jack Kaliski coming back. Obviously, that's one of our you know, everyone calls him Hasbula. He's got the baby face. You know, he's a big boy. 6'4", type 230, can hit and pitch. I don't think he'll be doing much pitching this year, just because he kind of just shut her down at the end of the year. But yeah, he hit. Set the school record for home runs in a single season down there, career record for home runs, and he's still got one more year to go. I think he had 15 this year, something like that. Yeah, he's a big part of it. And then, we got Carter Claro coming back, who is, I coached him all through PBA. Very good hitter, plus pop, can play first base really well. He's going to come back for his senior year. Aiden Newton is also coming back, Calgary kid. He's, down at Northwestern State, down in Louisiana. He's coming back. Um, and then, yeah, there's just, there's so many guys. Levi Abbott, believe he's a senior as well. He's at Canisius. He's coming back. Max Benton, he's a senior. He's coming back. It's weird how they explore other opportunities, and then they kind of want to end their career here in their senior years with us. But yeah, there's so many guys that we
Yeah.
kind of have coming back that it's hard to say all of them. But yeah, the big names, even Noah McNeil, he had a hell of a year for PBA for us, potentially going to Division 1 next year. He's going to be one of our guys we're going to have behind the plate. Trying to think some local guys. We got Brendan McTavish coming back at second base. Luke Wheatley is coming. He went, some of those Vauxhall guys. Seamus Ryan, he was an affiliate last year. He's affiliate again this year too. He's going to North Dakota State. I think he had a .7 or .8 ERA as a high school kid last year. So we're going to be leaning on him a bunch this year to kind of be one of our dudes. It's not overpowering, but you know, he's he gets the job done, and then yeah, it should be. I'm really excited about this year.
That's fantastic to hear. It sounds like a good problem to have when there's too many players that you want to name. That's a good thing. So that's
Yeah,
good. So
exactly.
yeah,
Bernie Sakaris, Adonis Bernal. I think Bernal hit 7 home runs last year for us. Like in our 6 or 7 hole, you know what I mean?
right.
And he's coming back. So yeah, there's lots to be excited about.
That's good to hear. So Bulls fans, get excited now. The last question for you here, Ryan. If I were to come back from the future here, and I told you that the Lethbridge Bulls won the championship, everything went really well this year. What's the X factor? If you fill in the blank for me, fill in the blank. Blank must have went really well for us if that's the case.
I'd say the biggest thing that we missed out on last year was we lost, I think, 6 pitchers right before the season type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest thing that kind of helped us push us through in the playoffs. And I think Josh has done a phenomenal job. He does a great job recruiting guys. He's always on top of them, talking to them and stuff like that. Our pitching staff, I think, is going to be the over the top factor this year. Looking back at it.
There you go. Well, Ryan, appreciate your time today. Best of luck the rest of the way, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you down the road as we make more content for the league this summer. But get back out of the baseball field. Excited to see you out there.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.